Welcome to our community. Susie Thomas visiting with Patty Hostetler from Hannah's House 119. Good morning.
Good morning. So glad to be here.
Got to start with what's the 119?
Oh my goodness, I love to share this. This is from 1 Samuel 119, chapter 1, verse 19, where a young girl named Hannah is really in a situation she can do nothing about, Susie. She has done nothing to have this in her life, but she was barren. She couldn't have children, and there was nothing she could do to fix that. So being a young Jewish woman, the only thing that she knew to do was to cry out to her God, and that's what she did. And in 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 19, it says, "And the Lord remembered her, and he helped her to rise above her circumstance." And that's the message we have for our girls, that they too can rise above their circumstances, whether they were part of getting there or if it's something that's totally out of their control. There's hope for them.
Yes, some things happen and you're just a victim.
That's right. Yeah.
But thank goodness. I loved this one thing I heard someone say years ago. Someone said, "How are you doing?" And he said, "Pretty well under the circumstances." And the other person's response was, "Well, what are you doing under the circumstances that we're able to get over those? Thank the Lord."
Yeah.
And that is what he's got you doing, helping people get on top of those circumstances, get out from under them. So what is Hannah's House 119? What do you do? What kinds of circumstances are we talking about?
Okay, well, we are a mentoring agency. We are faith-based, but the curriculum that we use, that we go into schools and do prevention, is not faith-based, it's life skill-based. So we're teaching awesome things like healthy relationships, good communication skills. We're talking about self-esteem, helping them to feel very confident about who they are. And we also work with teen parents, so we have a whole curriculum through incredible years that we work with them. And we also partner with Starr County Family Court on the Human Trafficking Task Force for Juveniles. So we're doing a lot out there. We stay busy.
You are involved in every possible facet of this. What ages are we talking about with young people that you're working on, particularly with the healthy relationships?
We start at middle school, 6th grade and up.
Isn't that something that you have to start that early?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Oh, man. And what are you finding out? Where are young people today as far as relationships and the confusion that all brings while your hormones are raging?
Yeah. I feel very concerned, truthfully, for our young people. And I think a lot of it has to do with social media. They think they have 400 friends, They think that's their community, and it's really not. It's not real friendship.
Right.
It's not healthy relationship. And sometimes they're not learning how to really have healthy relationships. So I feel like we're really getting back to the basics with them.
Where do you start? Where do you start teaching like a 7th grader or a 6th grader how to sit down and just begin to have build a friendship with someone, looking them in the eye, not over screen time?
Right. 2 things I'd say to that. One is when we explain how important community is to them, we often hear it's not the same for us as it was for you, Miss Patty. We don't do friends. Friends betray us. Friends use what we say against them. And so they're missing that community with friendships, again, because they think their social media world is their friendships. But then also we model it for them. Not that we necessarily can be their friend, but we are their mentor, and we're modeling how to have relationship with them. We're sitting face to face with them. We're putting them in a circle of other peers with their mentors, building that relationship with them firsthand, showing them how.
How do we teach them boundaries?
Oh, that's a whole big lesson in itself. Again, it's spending time with them week after week. When you build that trust with them because they have a relationship with you, then they hear that lesson that you're giving them on Media Smart, how to be smart with media. When you're saying to them same things that maybe their parents or their teachers are saying to them, but they're hearing, because they have that mentor relationship with you, they're hearing it maybe in a different way. So it's consistency. It's just spending time with them, which is so crucial in our world today.
Yes, and you're talking about those awkward years. For some reason, we still, even many people as adults, still see themselves as that very awkward 6th grader with, braces and what have you. Mm-hmm. And why does that stick with a person? Why, of all the years of your life, why does that stick with a person as far as their self-image? And I'm thinking about these poor gals that they are that age, and that is that self-image, and they're looking in the mirror, and that's who they see right there, instead of seeing themselves through God's eyes.
Yeah. And I think, again, I don't want to say this too much, but social media plays such a part in that with our kids.
Yeah.
You know, they just see other people, and my pastor likes to call Facebook fake book, you know, and there's a lot of truth to that. We put the best of ourselves out there.
It's a highlight reel.
Exactly. So, you know, but that's what we do with them. You know, one of the lessons we'll be talking about, you know, is, you know, how to be in style. But really, what does that mean? Because, you know, it's not, you don't want to even make friends based on what you wear. It's about, you know, who you are. And so we just try to build them up that way to show them where their value really does come from.
When you think that it's so important for everyone to know exactly how to hold a phone so that you get that right angle to do a selfie correctly, so it's the most attractive, flattering angle you can do, how to hold your arm, how to hold your legs, where to stand, how to tilt. We all know, just go for it. Go for that selfie pose. Yep. And it's ridiculous, isn't it?
It is.
It's so not
really
real.
is.
It's not real life. So that's one thing that you deal with as far as healthy relationships, true friendships, and being able to see themselves differently. Then if people have kind of made some bad choices, and you're able to intervene as well. Let's talk about that.
Yeah. Well, we definitely want them to know they're not defined by those bad choices.
Yes, thank you.
And again, I think that as we do groups with them and teach them where their real value comes from, and helping them to overcome those obstacles and make better choices, equip them, give them some life skills that will help them make and feel better about themselves. You know, building that self-esteem in them is really important.
Do you hear back from them things that were the aha moment for them? Like, I didn't realize this, but then I learned this.
We do. I really, that it stands out to me thinking of some of our human trafficking victims where, you know, we know and expect that sometimes they're going to go back to things that they're used to when they struggle. And I know that's hard to wrap your mind around, thinking that we've helped you out of that. Why would you go back to it? But it's when they go back into that sometimes that they see, oh, Miss Patty was right. He is manipulating me, or he is, you know, he doesn't love me when he's saying this and doing this. And so sometimes it's back in those real life moments that they have those aha moments. And then it's a decision that they're making because they get it. And then that's what sticks and is lasting.
But that's not one of those lifestyles that it's easy to say, you know, I'm not going to do this anymore and walk away from it.
It isn't, because often, you know, those people are meeting some real basic needs for them, you know, and nobody else is.
And they're also dangerous.
And very dangerous, yeah.
So there would be a fear thing, right?
Correct.
Partly.
Yeah.
How do you deal with that?
Yeah, we pray a lot. You know, we pray a lot, and we trust God that He's going to keep us safe, keep them safe as we go to where they are sometimes.
Yes.
And we, you know, just we try to teach them, you know, things that maybe they've never heard. You know, and a lot of that comes from trauma. When someone has trauma in their lives, you know, it's proven that that affects brain development, and where we may be in a situation that our heart starts to beat faster because we feel like we're in danger. For a young person who's had a lot of trauma, that resting heart rate for them is always high. And so they're not maybe necessarily knowing that they're even in danger. So, you know, there's so many things to that, you know, we just don't always understand.
So you're putting together some fall groups with prevention in mind.
Yes.
Let's talk about those.
Yeah, so a big part of what we do for prevention is we have girls' circles in schools that invite us in to work with maybe a group of girls that they have pre-selected for us that maybe just are going through a tough time. Maybe dad is raising them on his own and they just need a female role model. Maybe they just aren't involved in any sports and they could use some pro-social things. So we get them in a circle with 2 mentors and maybe 6 to 8 girls, and we check in, we build relationship with them. We're doing fun things like crafts and team building. We always have a snack or food, of course. And then we have that lesson that's going to talk about healthy relationships or social media smart, or we teach all our girls about human trafficking and communication, lots of fun things that we talk about. And so that's in schools, but we also do the same thing at our programs in the evening at our locations. And so those may be court referrals that we received because we partner with Stark County Family Court, or they might be from Job and Family Services or a coach. And we do that in the evening so that we can, again, build relationship in a way that they have that extra support. Because we know when kids feel supported and they feel noticed and loved, they do better. It's proven.
It's kind of providing an extracurricular for young people who don't have extracurriculars.
Absolutely, it sure is. And for those who maybe don't have the means to those things, like they might not have transportation to be able to get back and forth to a sporting, activity where for us, we either do it right at their school so they don't have to have transportation, or we're bringing them to our location and providing that transportation for them.
What do you see? Do you see them forming friendships in that group then? You see that blossom?
We do.
Tell me about that.
Oh my goodness. Some of them have become best of friends. Especially I notice it a lot in our parenting program. They're teen moms who now have a support of their own peers who are going through the same thing. And they are just amazing watching them grow together. We have several groups that have just even graduated now but are staying very connected because of those relationships they made in their girls' club.
How about generationally then? Do the babies all become friends too?
Oh my gosh, we love our babies. And if you want something to do on Monday nights, come to Hannah's house and you can help us hold and rock our babies while our moms are in their parenting program. But we get, their family. They their mentors are very special to their little kiddos.
It is so hard to be a young person today. It is so hard to be a teenager today. I cannot imagine piling on another layer of being a teenager and trying to parent another little baby.
Right.
How on earth do they do this?
And you know what? These young moms, sometimes they get labeled, as that rebellious teenager, and they have that obstacle in itself to overcome. But what we see are young moms who really love their babies, and they're doing the best they can to be better for their babies. And that support that they get through their mentors and through each other, I would say it's a lifeline. It really is for them.
Are they getting something from the program to remind them why they wouldn't want to do that again?
Absolutely.
Oh, that's so good.
Absolutely. Yeah, for sure.
Good to know.
I think of one young mom that we work with who just graduated, and statistically 50% of teen moms don't graduate. Right. But she did. She graduated.
That's
she actually
wonderful.
has twin girls.
Oh my.
And the program that she was in, we actually we met her in her school group. That's how we got introduced to her. But then she also became a part of she found out about our teen parenting program, so she came to it. And I haven't gotten to read it yet, but one of the administration told me that she wrote her senior essay on Hannah's house and the difference that her mentors made for her. So we celebrate that because she's not a statistic. She has risen above, just like what we want her to do. And she graduated, and now she gets to have that experience for her little ones to say, you know what, I overcame this, and no matter what comes your way, you can too.
And to be able to train for some employment, to be able to rise out of poverty, to be able to provide for this other little person who did not sign up for this.
Right.
None of those babies signed up for this way of life at all. And it's a tough one, isn't it? Your job is hard.
And it's a great job. I love it.
And you can tell. We are visiting with Patty Hostetler from Hannah's House 119, and we're going to find out more about these mentors and what's important and what's involved after these words. Please stay with us. You're listening to Our Community.